Good morning, everyone. It is 8:30 a.m. on. Oh my gosh, we're like on time. This is like better than Tim.
I don't want to say nothing.
we weren't gonna bring it up, but Tim.
Now that Robert did.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Like I said, it's like now it's 8:31 on Friday, September 17th, and according to Tim, it's like November, December, something like that. I don't even know where it is, but it is time for you to get going and make things happen. And we're here for you to talk today about how to make a little bit of that happen. I want to briefly and quickly go over the schedule for today so that you guys can make sure you attend all of the attending things. Ignite is happening at 9 a.m. So it's, I don't, is this day, I don't know, it's the second week, I think, second week of Ignite. So get into Ignite. If you're already in the program, you know what's going on. Make sure that you, ask questions and get involved. I think that as a presenter, one of the things that we love is for people to get really engaged. So if you're going to go in there, go in with some questions, go in with energy, and become part of the process and part of the system. It makes it a lot of fun for you and a lot of fun for everyone else. So that's happening at 9 o'clock on kellerignite.com, I think, right? And at 1 o'clock today, Back to Basics, the Back to Basics forms class, and that is normally with Jen. Are you doing that today, or what's going on?
I well, I think we're playing it by ear today because Jen does have some few things coming up, but she does like to get in front of that
Mm-hmm.
class as far as staying in front of the agents here. Jen's role is really becoming more on the higher ups of the legality and the lawyer stuff here at Keller Williams, and I've been taking
Mm-hmm.
on the small stuff. But Jen always wants to be in front of you guys so that people don't forget who she is, I guess. Yeah, so it'll be Jen or I. It'll be New Hampshire Back to Basics. So just a group of forms that we go over for agents that have probably never seen them before. For the newer folks.
All right. Well, that's talk to us a little bit. I actually had you. I don't know if you noticed. You were Babs for the first few
I
minutes
did
there.
notice that, and I was going to talk about marketing, but
You should have totally just gone right into
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so first of all, you take your ice cream, you go to Second Street in Manchester, they'll dip it in a cherry thing, and then call me and I'll do all your marketing. Is that sums it up, right, for Babs?
That's it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And no, peanut butter parfait.
And that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah.
Peanut butter parfait. I can't believe we're sitting here recalling things like that.
Well, listen, it's Dairy Queen. So we got Babs with peanut butter parfait. We got Tim Lindsay with bear claws. I mean,
Yeah.
Nate with any kind of a pie you want to talk about. Nate loves
Yeah,
pie.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Pie.
so
So what's your thing?
So lately, now that I'm on the keto, which obviously we talked about Rick yesterday, I said to Tim, I go, I haven't really announced anything about my keto diet or what I've been doing, and like I feel like the last 3 days it's been like all I've talked about with people. But my what is the what derails me? Yeah, that's the word I'm going to
Vice.
use. Derail. My vice. I would say daily. It's
Uh,
coffee. But it
eh.
doesn't derail me. I've changed it over to coconut milk. But I will tell you that if you have anything tiramisu, I am taking keto. I'm going back 10. I'm punting and I'm eating some tiramisu. I love it.
That's awesome. I used to live in Florida, and there was a place called Panavino, just a little Italian place, small place, that had the most amazing tiramisu, and it
Really?
was basically tiramisu destination. They had that. That's where you went to get your tiramisu.
So you'll hear Tim talk about Massimo's. Like
Of
Nate gives
course,
out
yeah,
Massimo. Yeah, Massimo. So Massimo's is like the best Italian restaurant this side of, I would say, the North Shore of Boston, right?
yeah.
So I went there and the food was unbelievable. The tiramisu,
What?
yeah, I was shocked. The fingerling, which is the cake at the bottom,
Yeah.
was like in water, and I know they store tiramisu in like a dehumidifier so that it stays moist, but it was like, honestly, I've had better tiramisu at like Milo's Pizza in Barrington. Because
I'm
two
not gonna
things
say
tiramisu,
anything here,
yeah.
because I
And Jen,
love Massimo.
me too. I was telling Jen Vashon last night. I was telling her about it. She's like, "Oh my god, you need to tell the dessert guy." And I was like, "I'm not going in. They don't know. Nate can go tell him. I'm not telling him." You know what I mean? But I said tiramisu should do two things, right? The espresso should kick you in the face, and the cognac should kick you right in the. And it did. Neither one did. From a place that charges $49 for a piece of tiramisu.
Oh my god. Well, when we go there, I don't know if it's always on the menu or if it's just something that you just kind of ask for. But my wife is the lobster risotto. That's
Yeah,
her absolute go to. My go to is anything on their menu.
you right. I had
I'm
the carbonara, like it.
oh god.
Yeah, with a raw egg on it, and you got to like
Oh my
swirl the
god.
egg. I mean, honest to God.
Oh
But
yeah.
if you're looking for a great place in Portsmouth, Toscana.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Okay.
the picture I put with all the meat that I had.
Mm-hmm.
That's Toscana, which is right next to the old Rira, which is now a barbecue place, I guess.
Yep. Yep.
Very impressed with that place.
You know, the my second place in Portsmouth is Mediterraneo. I love
Yes.
Cafe Mediterraneo, and Durbar, the Himalayan place. But it's one of those things where it used to be Michelle's Cafe or something like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't go into Durbar for the longest time because I would walk by and I'd look at the menu and it said Himalayan food, and I've never had any experience with that or anything. So I'm like, I just kind of look at it and go, well, maybe someday I'll give it a try. Finally went
That's a
in there.
restaurant week place. Never been there. Go
Yeah,
during restaurant
exactly. I go in there and a friend of mine from out of town came in and he had been there before and he goes, "We're going to Durbar." I'm like, okay, fine. I went in there and walked out of there going, "Okay, awesome." Just
on the
it
list.
kind of surprises you. It's like you think Himalayan food. What are we talking about? Goat? I don't know. What is it?
Yeah.
And turns out it was just. I mean, number one, it was super duper spicy, which I absolutely love. And number two, the just the range of flavors. That's to me the thing is, it doesn't have to be a giant dish. It doesn't have to be crazy. It just needs to have a nice range of flavors so that you just sit there and go, your mouth goes like 4th of July. That's the way I
Yeah.
think of it. Okay, so now we know. I think I didn't mention my vice, and I'm not going to do that on air. So we'll skip that.
I already know your vice. It's anything with an apple on it.
That may be true. That actually now,
You
yeah,
held up like 14 phones. Like that's
yeah, it's wrong.
yeah.
I'll tell you how wrong it is. I have in my proximity, I have right there is my clock, which is the iPad 1, the first iPad that came out, and there's a story behind that. I was one of the first people to get it, and I was on TV when I got it. So that's my iPad 1.
Of course you were.
My iPad 3 is sitting over here, and that is my calendar. And that's what I use for count. My iPad 4 Pro is sitting up there, and that one is controlling the cameras right now. But here's the funny thing. My wife...
I want everybody who's watching live to throw in the chat. Yes, I also have 5 Apple tablets, like Robert. He's like, where's here, there. I got one on the back wall. I got one upstairs. I got one on the roof. Like, honest to God, if you have more than 3 tablets, I want you to put it in the chat. We're gonna call this "Beat Robert with Tablet." Like, honest to God.
Beat Robert with a tablet.
You
Well,
and
the
Tim,
funny
like,
thing is, my wife the
unbelievable.
other day, she needed a calculator. She wanted like that instead of like using her phone as a calculator. She said, "Do you have like a calculator?" I said, "Yeah, on the iPad." And she goes, "Which one?"
I have an app on 2.7, not 2.8, but 2.7.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah. You with your Apple and Tim with his microphones.
Yes. Yeah. Well, see, now the thing is, now I've
See, we
got
opened
a
a Pandora's
stack of
box.
microphones over here.
Oh, you as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have 2. I have this one, and then I have the headset one that I wear that Tim makes fun of me, calls me the defensive coordinator for the Patriots every time I wear it.
You know what? I'm not a big fan of the way they look on screen, but I'll tell you what, if for working purposes, headphones are the best.
Yeah,
Like not buds, I got a pair of the Apple buds, that's fine and all that, but I'm talking about like headphones are the best for that. So anyways, okay, so enough goofy stuff about that. Let's talk about real estate. What happened last night?
Oh, last night was New Hampshire Association of Realtors, NHAR, Realtor of the Year ceremony. So we had, at KWCLM, we had 2 folks over there representing us and their boards. We had Melissa Lesniak for Stratford County, and then we had Teresa Bernhardt for White Mountain, which is awesome. Out of the 14 boards, to have 2 members of KWCLM being obviously voted by their boards and then going up to the state level
Mm-hmm.
was absolutely amazing. It was an amazing time. I will say that it was sold out. So when I say I want to thank everybody that showed up, I know more people wanted to go. You just couldn't because they did a social distancing, 4 people at a table. We were very
Mm-hmm.
spread out, and they only let so many people in, and it sold out fast. But I'm very happy to see KWCLM had Sally Stewart showed up and um, a few other folks, me, Jen, Mark Lesniak, Krista Carnan, Jeff D'Angelo. There was a lot of support there for our people, and to being part of the board. Jerry O'Connell. Jerry O'Connell won Realtor of the Year in 2016, so he gave a great speech.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loved Jerry's speech. It's funny how many people know Jerry on the state level because Jerry's Irish, so he likes to swear a lot. And he brought that up in his speech. He's like, I went through my speech and I had my wife go do it. And she said, Jerry, you can't swear. So I redacted it. And then, of course, he held it up and it's like all black stripes everywhere. It was
Like a
just,
CIA
well,
dossier.
yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like the Kennedy, yeah, docs. It was perfectly timed. It was very tasteful. Jerry did a great speech. We heard from, obviously past presidents, future presidents, and then, board members and stuff like that. It was just a great time to as a community of realtors, not just KWCLM, to get together, and of course everybody would like to be there in spirit with in face to face. So I just wish it was a bigger. In the years past, we've had hundreds of people in the room. Last night there was probably I think they had 50, 75, something like that in
But it
there.
was a packed
But
house.
it was a packed house, yeah. And the other thing I want to bring up too with obviously the Real Association is September is actually Realtor Safety Month, and I know Tim touched on this with Beverly Carter and what happened to her back in the day. But be on the lookout. Me and Jen are really going to be in the next couple probably days, probably in the next week, going to be putting up videos on Realtor Safety for all the new agents that have been out there and you have not been able to get to a lot of these training classes on Realtor Safety and how to show a house properly. We're gonna put a lot of the videos up, and I'm going to not donate. I'm going to make this week's night school. So technically next week, coming up, we're going to talk about Realtor Safety. So if anybody wants to know
Mm-hmm.
about Realtor Safety, what the red card is, how to show property, who Beverly Carter is, what she represents in our association, feel free to jump in on night school next week, and we're going to have a pretty in-depth conversation about Realtor Safety and any questions that you guys may have. In the past, we used to have a guy come in, Mark Miller, who was a loan officer for years, but now got out of it. He's I'm not into martial arts, but he holds like the highest black belt in like 7 different styles. Like this guy is legit, and he teaches over in Exeter, and he would come in and teach classes, which was always a great time to watch Melissa Lesniak in heels beat the crap out of him. He would teach, how to flip somebody and how to, just escape and evade type stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he would have like some of the. It was open to men and women, but the women would like step up and want to beat his ass. It was awesome. So it's fun to go in and watch that. We can't do that obviously with COVID in the last bit. So me and Jen were talking about that last night. Like we really need to do something because we got to have stuff out there. So be on the lookout for the Facebook page for me or Jen posting stuff about Realtor Safety. And please come to the class on next Thursday, and we're going to talk about Realtor Safety.
That's the conversation is an important part of it, just as much as the actions that you take and all that. Getting that out and getting it openly discussed and making sure that people are aware of options and methodologies and just I think the awareness is a big thing because we tend to all just kind of slip into routines and forget about something that isn't happening right now.
Yeah,
So it's like, oh, we'll just, I'll take that class later, or I'll follow up on that later. Don't do that. This is one of those classes where this is one of those occasions where the information that might seem passive could actually save your life. So
it's
be part of this, be active in this, seek out that information. If you are doing an open house this weekend, okay, if you got something coming up this weekend and we're talking about something that's going to be discussed next week, actively seek out that information on YouTube or the Realtor Association, or give somebody a call. You know what? Now that you have that awareness, go ahead and follow up on it. Don't wait. Don't wait to do something. Be proactive and take action.
Yeah, because you make a good point, Robert. People think it doesn't happen. How many times have we been on the Keller Williams page where we have an agent that says, "I got a call today from John Smith, just seemed a little off, blah blah blah," and then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 other agents with it. We're a huge network now.
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 other agents do that, and then you'll see Jeff or Nate or one of them say, "Hey, make sure you put that on the Seacoast Realtor page." And all the other realtor pages, and then you'll start seeing other people have asked me. I got that same call, right? It has happened in this area, not to the point of Beverly Carter who was killed, but we have had issues in the area, and people, this happens every day, people, guys. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, like, be aware of it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And just know that when we tell you guys to meet your buyers the first time at the office because you're showing them your value, it's also showing safety. It's also saying, so now Helen at the front desk, or Christy at the front desk, or whoever at the front desk, or somebody in another office sees that I saw Robert leave with this person that looked like this, had a black car. You know what I mean? Like, we teach you guys all this in the realtor safety classes. And
Hmm.
if you haven't had it, please come. We're going to post videos again, but it,
Hmm.
it, it does happen. And
Yeah,
even,
there's
even if it's not on an assault level, it also teaches you how to look for, like, fraudulent stuff. And you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like,
hmm. Hmm.
it's realtor safety on more than just criminal stuff. You know what I mean? So come,
There's
let's talk about it. Let's have an open conversation. I think everybody would love it.
There's a book I have. It's not on my bookshelf right now. I'm not like Tim. I don't have things just literally sliding down and showing up in my hand here. But there's a book I have. It's basically on how it analyzes the character of Sherlock Holmes and that analytical mind. And I got it because I was intrigued by, what is the techniques that are being used by this character to be so observant. And I wasn't trying to become Sherlock Holmes in reading it, but I picked up a couple of tidbits about how to look at things. And just that alone, just the observation techniques, not intensity or not just but being present, being aware, and noticing things around you and being present in that action can be so powerful. And I took that away from that particular book.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it and bring it up for
Is
people later
so
on.
somebody on Facebook just wrote, there's not a chance one of us wouldn't jump in with somebody who is uncomfortable. Is that Sue Doyle? I don't get to see the
That
name.
is Sue Doyle. That is exactly who that is.
I read that and I go, that is Sue Doyle, and that's her writing. And I will say, Sue Doyle is a super advocate for realtor safety. I have seen Sue on other Facebook pages saying, I don't care what brokerage you're with. If you need help or if you feel uncomfortable,
Hmm.
call me. I will come. I will
Absolutely.
do showings with you. And I applaud Sue for that, because that's the realtor side, right? We
Hmm.
we like to play the KW number one, like we just went over the sales meeting, how we're number one and beating everybody. Yay, hooray. But at the end of the day, we are all realtors, and that is the bigger family,
Hmm.
right? And
Absolutely.
help your fellow agent. It doesn't matter who. Reach out to people, say, hey, listen, I know you're in the area. I know you live in this town. You know what I mean? And I don't know many agents that would not help out. And somebody just wrote orange folder. Yeah, we'll
Yep.
talk about
That's
that too.
Carol. Yep.
Um, yeah, there's a ton of stuff out there, and there's a ton of help, guys. Just take it serious, very serious on the realtor safety thing. And again, I
Yeah.
would love everybody to come Thursday, night
Yeah.
school, 6 o'clock, kellertv.com, and we'll talk about it. I'm going to invite Sue Doyle because I know Sue is a super advocate of realtor safety. And,
Hmm.
thank you, Sue, for everything you've done. I've seen everything you've put out there. And, let's have a conversation. Let's
Yeah.
train each other up.
And I'll wrap it back into this. The conversation alone, awareness, being thoughtful and mindful of this. Carol just put in about the orange folder and license plates. There are tools that you can use. The orange folder is a tool. Jason, I think that me as a non-agent, I think I should stay away from the description of this. But you are familiar with the orange folder.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that?
So if you are at ever KWCLM, there's two different styles here, right? So KWCLM, if you are at a showing and you feel uncomfortable, if you call any front desk, 610-8500, you will get one of our amazing front desk people, and they know what this means. If I say, hey, Christy, this is Jason, can you send me the orange folder for 123 Main Street, which is the property I'm standing in? Christy then calls the cops. She calls
It's a
911 and
very
has the
simple
police
technique.
department. Yeah, very simple
People.
technique. Now, the other thing that we do too, as realtors, when you do orientation, you get a red business card. It's a business card that says Stratford County, Lakes, Mountains. Doesn't matter what board you're in, but it's bright red. And I would say to you, if I'm at a showing and I don't feel comfortable, hey, Robert, and you're another agent. So Robert's not the client. Robert is the other agent. Hey, Robert, I don't know if you got the email address for the Stratford County Board of Realtors new one. Here's the new information. When I pull that out of my wallet and it's bright red, Robert sees that. Robert knows to act cool, leave the building, and call 911.
Now that I did not know of.
Yeah,
That is
that's
brand
realtor
new to me.
safety. Yep, that's part of it. Yep. So,
So that is
you know,
taught
the
in the
red.
realtor safety. How are people finding out about that?
So when you take your realtor class, and this is why, you know, if you guys have ever got the call from me mid-month that says, "Hey, listen, if you don't take your realtor orientation, sorry, I had to slow down on that one, class, the board's going to send your license back." That is the class that you take. It's in there. They talk
Okay.
about realtor safety and all the codes of ethics, obviously. And then typically, pre-COVID, you used to be in the class. You would get your PIN, and then you would get your red card. You would get the red business card, and it's, you know, you would put that in your wallet. Um, I don't. My wallet's out in my car. I actually have mine. Mine is from 2003. I still have it. And if anybody doesn't have it, as you guys are aware, I'm a director at Stratford County. I can get them. I will grab a stack from Lydia, and I will leave them at the front desk in Portsmouth if anybody needs some, because everybody should have one. You should have two.
Inventory time. If you do
Yeah,
not have a
yeah.
red card, get one.
I will
And
make sure that there are some at the front desk next week. It's Realtor Safety Month. You go to any one of your boards, they have them in stock. They'll give them to you. They also have
mhm.
realtor pins. Will your realtor pin with pride? You know, and it's one of that's the other thing. Orange folder for KWCLM, red card for any agent to agent that does not work here.
Okay, excellent. Carol, go get your red card. She just mentioned that she doesn't have one. This is something where if it's a tool, you should have it in your toolbox. You know, Carol, I really like the fact that you said a moment ago about license plates. My wife is an incredible observationist, and she doesn't try. She doesn't sit there and say, "I'm going to be an observing person." I don't. She doesn't do that. She just, by her nature, sees things. You know, jokingly with her, we'll be driving down, and she'll say, "Oh, you want to turn left at XYZ Street," and I'm like, "How do you?" What do you mean XYZ Street? Isn't it just turn left at the second left? And she's like, no, then that one is ABC Street. She knows things about the street names and observations. She remembers people from her youth, faces that from her youth. We were in a mall one time and she walked by someone and she goes, "I went to kindergarten with that person." I'm like, "There's no way that you remember that." She walked right up to the person and said, "Hi, da 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 da," and they went to kindergarten together. That's the kind of crazy weirdness she has. But that's an innate thing. That she just has that. If you don't have that ability, you have to kind of focus. And to Carol's point about the license plates, if you're going to do one thing, focus on learning license plates, learning how to take that observation moment and just look at a license plate and say it in your
Yep.
head, make an acronym out of it, do something to make it so that it just sticks in your head. Because knowing the license plate, just being able to observe the license plate, there may be nothing that happens with that car. But how about this? The one moment when you're practicing learning license plates and taking that observation moment, the next thing you know, something happens and that's the car that's involved. You didn't have to scramble to learn the license plate. You already kind of had a heads up on it. So
Right.
people pull up, you look at their license plate, passively you're putting it in your head. It's kind of a subconscious thing. Next thing you know, something happens. Let's hope it doesn't. Something happens and you're like, "I have a partial and I can at least remember that I looked at it once." Those kind of tools, you should be observing those tools before things happen and not try to do something as it's happening or after it's happening. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's just safety in general. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Like, and the realtor safety class, if you guys go on the Facebook page, the realtor page, and watch it, it goes right down to like even pumping gas. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like what to look for,
Yeah.
the signs. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
always be aware of your surroundings. Never have your back to people. Never go into a room
Mhm.
first. You know what I mean? And this is not just, you know, women. People think realtor safety should
Yeah.
be about women, and it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be about anything. There are just people out there that have issues. You know, I mean, and
Yeah.
we're coming out of a time where people are very stressed out. PTSD is real, even from
Mhm.
COVID. You
Mhm.
know, people have been locked up in their houses, and some people are just making poor choices right now.
Yeah.
So let's not let one of us be the poor choice. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, I am always available. I mean, I've gone on many open showings with agents, and somebody posted on the chat too that if you're driving around on a Saturday, like, and you see an open house, stop in. First of all, the
Yeah.
agent's going to be so excited that another agent's there. They're going to be like, "Oh my god, you showed up!" You know what I mean? And they may ask you to stay. I think I read somewhere that's, you know, they've been to 2 or 3 last year, and the people said, "Hey, can you stick around?" You know, like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you want to talk about making a great network amongst other agents. We always talk about having your client relationship other agent relationships. If you walk into an open house, even if I've never met Robert and he's doing open house, he's like, "Hey man, can you stick around? Things are weird," and I stick around.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of that, Robert will always remember in the future if we ever do a deal. Dude, I never did a deal with him, but he's a good guy. He stuck around in an open house I asked him to stick around for.
Mm-hmm.
You
You
know,
know,
so
we talk about this being a family, and one of the things about that is you don't have to know who's holding an open house. If you're like Sue said, if if you're driving by an open house, stop in.
stop in.
This is an opportunity for you to broaden your network because you may not know the people involved, and number two, you may be a part of something that. Can you imagine this? I think about this a lot. When you're not involved and something happens, you think, well, what would have happened if I was there? Not that we're talking about a heroic stance. I'm not talking about that.
No, no,
But presence
absolutely not.
alone, just presence alone may have just been the deterrent that was required. Two people instead of one.
Right.
That
Statistically speaking. Yep.
it's just the fact that there was another person there, and I don't. And this isn't about guilt. This isn't about anything like that. This is about future awareness. It would be awesome if we could say nothing's ever happened to me, and that would be awesome because nothing's ever happened to me because we've taken the precautions, we've prepared ourselves, and in the cases of being alone, somebody came in and popped in, and it was all part of the family. If we could get through, an entire career and a life with being able to say nothing's ever happened to me and not know why, how
Yeah.
awesome would that be? Because we're all present, we're all aware, and we're all working together as just human beings trying to make sure that we all get through safely.
Yep. 100%.
Okay.
And the final thing I want to throw out there, because obviously Robert's going to wrap this up, but I can't confirm or deny this, but and be on the lookout, because I understand that our esteemed broker Jennifer Vachon is going to talk deeply next week about clear cooperation. I know it's been a lot of conversation about it. A lot of people want to know when to put it on when to put it on Facebook, when I can put it in the MLS, when I can do an open house, when I can let people in. She is going to go over clear cooperation for Maine and New Hampshire. And I know it's kind of the same, but MLS rules are different, because clear cooperation, as we know, is a realtor code, but MLS says some other things. Jen is going to go over that in every scenario, in both states, very, very deeply. You didn't hear this from me, but I think it's going to be on Wednesday.
So, without getting into it, obviously we're coming to a close here. But in a sentence, what is clear cooperation?
So clear cooperation has come down January or February. God, I think it was this year, but I'm thinking it's last year. My mind is. We used to do coming soon, right? So we would put a sign up, say coming soon, and then we would put it. Some people would take a week to be coming soon. Some would take 3 months. Either way, people were getting frustrated because properties were kind of going under agreement without it ever really hitting the MLS,
Okay.
because agents would show their friend. So clear cooperation came down. Now, clear cooperation is a very odd policy. I don't really 100% agree with it, only because of the size of our brokerage. It behooves us. It really hurts a mom and pop shop. But Jen's going to go over the differences and how to do it the right way, because where we do kind of get an advantage on it, and Jen's going to go over that, agents now are now turning us in, right? Because maybe we didn't do it right in one state for another for the MLS. So it basically comes down to show one, show all is kind of how it is the general mist of it. But there are ways that we can put it on the MLS as a delayed showing, and people are starting to use that as coming soon again. So we're starting to teeter the line. And Jen's going to go over it deeply, because we get a lot of agents that are just saying, I don't understand it. I don't get it. This agency is doing it this way. Why are we doing it that way? So Jen's going to go over it 100%. And it doesn't mean that other brokerages are doing it right. Again, guys, I come from another brokerage, right? In 2005 when I came here, 2003 to mid five, I was with another brokerage. You guys get trained at a very high level. And I tell this to you guys as brokers, like, don't argue with other agents on stuff that you're right about. Let me do that, because I'm going to talk to their broker. It's going to be a broker to broker conversation. Not everyone gets the training we get. And I would say 95% of them don't. The other 5% is Metro, which probably does. So it's one of those things, like, yeah, just be on the lookout for that. I like I said, clear cooperation is going to be discussed with Jen sometime next week. I think I have an idea when, but we haven't really
Well, how do we
cemented.
find out? We keep an eye on the morning news.
It's going to be on the morning news.
Yep.
Correct.
Keep your eyes out for those morning emails that you get, and inquire if necessary. Be sure to be a part of that. Like Sue says here, it's clear cooperation is broken all day, every day, industry wide. Let's be the best. Let's be the standard by which other people judge. So,
100% correct. And it's going to come down as of right now. No one's really policing it, but they will be. Like, you know what I mean? Like they will be, because Sue is right. Like some of the stuff we're seeing, somebody put up the other day, they had their picture of their photographer taking pictures and like, oh, I'm out here with my photographer. That's a sly way of saying this property's coming soon. Right? Like, oops, you're kind of teetering right there. So yeah, we're going to go over all of it. And Jen's going to explain it. Jen just came from the near-end BOD meetings for New Hampshire and Maine. MREIS, I think it's called in Maine. But she's got a very clear understanding of it. And Jen's been involved with both boards for years. So it's going to be fun to hear her side of it.
And they're fining now.
Yep, they are.
Okay, we're over. Hey, listen,
we're over.
Ignite has started. Get into Ignite. Ask questions. Get involved. At 1 o'clock today, Back to Basics with Jen. And, of course, my lab is open at 2 o'clock today at kwtechtv.com. You guys have an awesome day, and more importantly, have an awesome weekend. Keep safety in mind if you're out there doing any open houses. Invite people to it. And if you're an agent and you're out seeing an open house somewhere, pop in, say hi, get involved, and grow your network, and stay safe. All right, that's it. Take care, you guys.